Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies. My name is Daniel King. Dave's in the house.
Yeah, with you now.
You may have noticed there's another episode in your news feed of your It's Just Two Movies podcast feed. That is just a companion episode. I know they're relatively new. By the time this episode comes out, there will have been a couple of them already. But just to give you a heads up, that's just a quick, brief, more digestible thing about current events in the film industry. But if this is your first time tuning into this podcast, It's Just Two Movies. We talk about a good movie and then another movie we haven't seen. Is it bad? Usually. Yeah, usually it is. Not always. Sometimes they're so bad they're good, or sometimes they're just like, we shouldn't have watched this as a bad movie. It was fine.
Right,
yeah. But very seldom are they like, wow, what a sleeper. I didn't know this movie existed, and I just cannot wait to tell other people how deep and great it is.
That's happened, though?
It hasn't yet. I'm hoping someday. That would be wild if somebody just referred us to a movie that looks dumb and it's not. It's just like crying at the end of it.
2 stars on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's just...
it's just fucking the greatest movie ever made. That'd be awesome. But so Dave and I, when Dave's on the show, Dave loves Marvel movies, and I also love Marvel movies. I love comic books. I love comic book movies. I love superheroes. And I'm just into that. Always have been since I was a kid. So... there are tons of podcasts out there that just cover this shit all the time, but when you're on, this is what we do. So we're dissecting the MCU one main character at a time, and we have done Captain America. We're moving through Thor, so we've got back episodes of the first Thor MCU movie and Thor: The Dark World, and now we're going to tackle Thor: Ragnarok.
The best Thor, in my opinion.
I'm going to agree with you. Hard agree. This is my favorite. It's the right amount of jokes. It's the right amount of jokes, the right amount of seriousness. But it's a fun adventure from a guy who just feels like he's untouchable.
Yeah, I feel like there was one too many jokes.
Yeah?
In a movie of 100 jokes, they only needed 99.
Okay, all right.
But
we'll get into it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Thor Ragnarok, it is a PG-13 2017 action sci-fi film, right around 2 hours, 10 minutes. You can watch it now on Disney Plus if you subscribe to that. It's got a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, 74% on Metacritic, 84% of Google users liked this movie. Release date November 3rd, directed by Taika Waititi. Box office, $854 million. Now, I don't know what the budget was, but it ain't no fucking $854 million. So I'm going to go out, take a real hot take and say this was probably profitable without even looking it up. The stars, Chris Hemsworth, obviously, Taika Waititi, Kate Blanchett, Jeff Goldblum, Mark Ruffalo, Tessa Thompson, Carl Urban, Tom Hiddleston, Idris Elba, Matt Damon, Sam Neill, Luke Hemsworth, Anthony Hopkins... the voice acting stylings of Clancy Brown, Zachary Levi, Rachel House, and a brief cameo by Benedict Cumberbatch and a couple other characters.
The list is pretty star-studded.
It is pretty star-studded, and I think my favorite one of all that I didn't realize was that Sam Neill is in this. Because this is a movie I've seen many, many times, and I knew that he was in it, but I just have forgotten that he portrays Odin in a play for like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
But last week on the podcast, we covered the Hunt for Wilder People, which stars Sam Neill. So it was refreshing to like have just done that movie and be like, man, I wish I'd see Sam Neill in more shit. And then I watched this and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he's in this. Yeah, so that's fun. What's Dave, if somebody was like, man, I fucking love comic book movies for whatever reason, I missed the train on Thor Ragnarok, what happens?
In the movie of Ragnarok?
Yeah.
I think Ragnarok happens.
Fuck.
But yeah. I would say it's a fun flick. It's a kind of a family drama with Thor. But then you get Ragnarok, which refers to the Norse legend of like the rebirth of Asgard or whatever. Well, this one is just kind of the fall. But there was kind of at the beginning of the movie banter between Thor and Surtur that I thought kind of described it well. Thor said he's been having terrible dreams of late. Asgard's in flames, falling to ruins, and you, Surtur, are in the center of it. And Surtur replies, then you have seen Ragnarok.
Right.
And that's what the movie leads to.
That's pretty much the whole movie. Some shit happens in the middle, but that's it. And Surtur, voiced by Clancy Brown, who's a big fan of Clancy Brown. Anytime they shoehorn him into something, I'm like, hey, there he is, my guy. Hey. There's really almost nothing that continues the relationship between Thor and Jane in this, with the exception of some people come up to Thor on the street and they're like, oh, sorry, you and Jane broke up. And he's like, it was a mutual thing.
Right.
But, so as far as the rest of this, I like the format that we've had lately where we're just like spoil the whole movie and then just talk about the things that we like. Maybe leave out the heavy spoilers. But essentially in Thor Ragnarok, all spoilers here from this point out, if you haven't seen it for whatever reason. Thor goes back to Asgard. Odin's not there. He finds Loki pretending to be Odin, and he's like, where the fuck is Dad? You know, so they take him back to Earth. They can't find him. They find Doctor Strange. He's like, oh, he's in Norway. I'll send you there. They send him there. Odin dies. And Odin's like, by the way, your sister's coming. She's evil. She's Hela. I'm dead. Hela shows up. She's like, I'm going to fuck your shit up. And while they're in the Bifrost, traveling between these different realms, Hela beats Thor and Loki, and they fall through the Bifrost into a place called Sakaar. And most of this movie takes place in Sakaar.
Yeah, a good whole
80% of it, probably, would you say? So Sakaar is just like where all the lost things in the galaxy wind up.
Yeah, they said it's an Earth that's at the, I forget how they worded it, but there's essentially just a bunch of wormholes or whatever you want to, what do they call it?
Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those. So it's just a
wormhole.
wormhole. But it's just a world that's surrounded by them, so people just dump shit in them and they fall to Sakaar.
Yep. And people also.
Yeah.
And this is where Jeff Goldblum runs the show, and he is the Grandmaster. So as the Grandmaster, he fucking has the Contest of Champions, which is a long-running comic book run, and it is also a mobile app game that I spent way too much fucking money on to have that mediocre of a team, but I played it a lot. So Thor essentially gets captured once he's on this planet. He gets roped into, pretty much enslaved into doing the Contest of Champions, where he has to face the Grandmaster's champion, and he can win his freedom if he beats the Grandmaster's champion. So there's a lot of tension building up around this point. He sees Loki, and he's like, Loki, get me out of here. Loki's like, I can't help you. I'm friends with the Grandmaster, so you're going to have to fight his champion. I've heard he's astonishingly violent. And they go to the fight. Who is it? Oh, my God, it's Hulk. Oh, hey, Hulk, whatever. Hulk can't change back into Banner. He's just been Hulk for 2 years, beating ass. And then through trials and tribulations, they wind up getting back to Asgard with Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie, another Asgardian that was just in Sakaar. And, they eventually thwart Hela and save the day by causing Ragnarok, which is Surtur exploding fucking Asgard. Now, if that sounded like a lot, it's because it is.
It's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. So to condense it into a couple of sentences, it sounds like quite a bit. But what I'm trying to get to you is, out of 2 hours and 10 minutes, this pacing is just...
Yeah, especially with the comedy.
It feels so smooth and fun and snappy, and there's so much shit going on. Like, the story just keeps going and going and going. There is no middling bits. Yeah,
nothing that you could cut. I actually watched all the extended scenes and the deleted scenes on Disney Plus, and even with what they cut, I feel I'm like they could have left that in. Like, it wouldn't have added too much to the runtime.
Yeah. What would have been the runtime? Would they have left it in?
I mean, maybe 5 minutes more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man.
But a lot of it was just jokes that they were cutting.
Gotcha. There's a lot of jokes in here, and if I'm going to be honest, we're going to talk about like what were some of your favorite parts?
Favorite parts or favorite jokes?
Just favorite parts. The parts a joke can be a part, you know.
Well, I feel like how the movie kicks off with Thor being captured and then him having to fight his way out.
Oh yeah.
And then them dropping Led Zeppelin's "Immigrant Song." It just fits so perfect, and
right.
It feels epic right off the bat.
They've got the fucking action. The action's killing it in this because it starts out and he's like, "Oh no, Thor's in a cage," and he fights Surtur. He beats Surtur's ass in the first 5 minutes. He fights a dragon, the bit where he drops the Mjolnir on the dragon's lower jaw,
that
and
dragon
it's just stuck on the ground.
Too.
Look fucking great, and that is the part that I like because canonically in the comic book runs, dragons are a thing that exist. There's multiple of them on different realms and in different worlds, and there's one on Earth. Maybe multiple on Earth. Sometimes there's Fing Fang Foom. He's an asshole. Anyway, doesn't matter. Some nerd out there's loving this right now. I liked the way that they're like, yeah, we'll fucking put a dragon in there. There's dragons in these comic books, and they're right. There are. I was a little like, why haven't I seen one yet? Kind of thing. So it was cool. It was a good payoff for me. But they're fucking off to the races with the action on this, and I love it. They go to Earth, they find Odin or whatever. Him dying, very tragic. Cate Blanchett as Hela introduced. Wow. She's awesome and terrifying.
Yeah. She's stunning right off the bat.
And then she just shatters Thor's hammer, which as a first-time viewer, if you didn't know that this was going to happen, like when I saw this in theaters, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is bad. That bitch is bad. Cate Blanchett's a bad bitch.
Yeah, later in the movie, whenever she's fucking destroying up Asgard, she like goes into I don't know what the chambers is or if it's the throne room, but there's a huge mural on the ceiling, and it's all love and flowers.
Garden parties and peace treaties.
Yeah, that's what she says. But then she destroys the ceiling to show the mural underneath, and it was her reign and her and Odin taking over the 9 realms to rule it. But in one of those, I noticed she was wielding Mjolnir. Yeah. So I was like, oh, crap, I guess
she's worthy.
She was worthy. But to that extent, does it mean that it's just worthy in the eyes of Odin?
Maybe. Maybe worthy can just be powerful enough. Like, if you're powerful enough to a certain extent, maybe you could just wield it. Maybe Thanos could wield it. He never tried.
Yeah. Trying to think with how they did it. Yeah.
Could be. You know what I mean? But it also might be, like, worthy of character. Maybe it's a bit from column A, a bit from column B.
Right.
I like the snappy nature of the humor in this. And one of my favorite through lines through the MCU is the fact that Thor, in every iteration of everything that's ever happened right up until this movie, he'd spent a very limited amount of time with Earth people on Earth.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden in Thor Ragnarok, he has an amazing sense of humor and sarcasm. Like, he gets that. He gets that because of the gap that we didn't get in his story in the time that he spent on Earth living with Jane, living on Earth.
Right, that you see a little bit in Love and Thunder.
So he hung out with Earth people and developed a fucking sense of humor. Part of something that, like, was not even... It's not a character trait anyone has in Asgard. So I like that he has this melded personality from traveling abroad, essentially. You know what I mean? It's a very neat...
Yeah.
It's a very neat character through line that's not super obvious, and they've never really hung a lantern on it. And I appreciate the fact that they do it, that part of it is at least remotely subtle.
Yeah, one thing I didn't realize whenever I was turning this movie on is that the genre classification, it's just a sci-fi comedy. Like, there's other genres on it, but it's the first 2 are sci-fi comedy, and it really makes sense. But they
action sci-fi.
Yeah, I was
going
to say, they do everything so well, and everybody's used to comedies having really bad story, just stories in general.
A lot of times, yeah, lazy cause and effect.
Yeah, and this one does it so well that you could easily think that that's meant to be an action movie or meant to be this or that. And
well, certainly, because they are not shy about the action in this. I love when they're playing that fucking "Come from the land of the ice and snow." You know what I'm talking about?
No.
When in the very beginning, when he's beating all the searchers, skeleton guys
yeah.
or whatever. Whatever song that is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That jam, dude, it's just fucking amped up. The stuff's cool. He's doing lots of cool stuff, hammer tricks and lightning shit and whatever. It's awesome. And then he gets his fucking hammer shattered, and he is shattered.
Yeah, and that's
really broke his confidence.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest probably plots of the movie is like, what is Thor without his hammer? Is he the god of hammers? So that's one of my...
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, that was actually a deleted scene that, because it was close to the end of the movie, wasn't it Odin that said it to him?
Well, it's Hela, and she's like got him pinned down, and she's already burned his eye out or whatever. And she's like, "I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again?" And he like...
Yeah, he goes into a trance.
He has a vision or whatever and sees Odin. He's like, "I can't do it without my hammer." He's like, "Are you Thor, the god of hammers?"
Yeah, and one of the deleted scenes, it was when Thor and Valkyrie and Banner, after he reformed from Hulk, they were traveling to like get out of Sakaar, and they gave the God of Hammers line to Bruce, and Thor was just ranting. He's like, I did this, did that, my father died, my sister cut out my eye, and my hammer broke. He's like, "You don't need your hammer. What are you, the god of hammers?"
That would have been equally as good.
I feel like the way that the comedy hit, Banner's line was delivered better than Odin's.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Odin's was meant to be a more like sincere action version of the, the hero. Notice it called to his moment, finds strength and whatever, resolve. It was still good. I'm not taking anything away from it, but that sounds like that would have been better. One of my only criticisms about this movie is Bruce Banner doesn't get to be like, "By the way, I am a genius. I have 7 PhDs."
Right.
He literally says, "I
it.
have 7 PhDs," and then doesn't do anything smart throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like nothing. He just is stressed out, and he's like, "I am smart, by the way, just so you know." I just wanted him to, let's see him do a little science, a little explainy sciencey thing. In one of I think it might be the first Avengers movie, when him and Tony, or maybe it's Age of Ultron, when they're talking about the AI stuff and what is this stone and blah, 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 blah. When they're doing their science bit, I fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
Give me some more of that. Like, the movie's already, 2 hours, 10 minutes long or whatever. I got 2 more minutes for some sciencey stuff. Throw it at me. It's just weird to see such a smart, intelligent, intellectual character not doing anything smart, intelligent, or intellectual.
Yeah. I really liked, you kind of hit on it, the pacing of the movie, but they just do some of the cut scenes to where some directors might, spend, even if it's just like 30 or 60 seconds, just getting the characters from point A to point B.
Oh, yeah.
They did it, or Taika did it really well right off the bat whenever whenever Thor and Loki was going from Asgard. Where were they? Oh, they were going to...
Earth?
Yeah, going to Doctor Strange.
Okay.
But they... whenever they were doing the cutscenes, it reminded me kind of... I don't know who directed Shaun of the Dead, but you know how they do a lot of...
That's called a whip pan. That's Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I was going to say the way that they do that to where, it was just like do a quick pan of maybe somebody shutting the door, somebody doing this, somebody doing that, and you get the whole scene of, oh, they went here, they went there, and it was literally 4 seconds, and now you're already at a new place.
Yeah, and it's time to move on with the story. We don't need to dilly-dally with the details of how they got from
Right,
A to B.
they're going here, going there, using the Bifrost, and now we're here. They planet jumped real fast. I feel like that really helped with the pacing, too. And then when Thor meets Doctor Strange, I feel like all the practical effects of Doctor Strange's magic, like whenever they were like jumping from parts of the sanctum from like one room to another, they would just use like a little puff of air to blow Thor's hair and then move the scene and then do the same puff of air without any type of actual special effects or anything. I thought that was really cool.
Well, I did see a thing once upon a time that was like, you notice how Doctor Strange is wearing those signature yellow gloves?
Huh.
Oh, well, he is. And this is the only movie he wears them in. because technically this is the only movie he's in where he is the
He's
Sorcerer
the actual
Supreme.
sorcerer. Yeah.
So
Supreme.
technically they've been retailored to Wong, although he can just be like, I'm not wearing them.
I get you.
You know what
no,
I mean?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's a more standard comic book look is with the yellow gloves. And I think in part is originally attributed to part of his vanity because his hands are so fucked up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like the Doctor Strange stuff. I like the way he's like, hey, I'm a magic beer wizard. Don't even worry about it. Here's, keep filling up your beer. Yeah, you top you off, big fella. My favorite part of this is how the manifestation of the Hulk is just, it was a baby. Whenever he started, it was just an infant. You know what I mean? Like in the first Hulk movie, he like has no emotions except for love. That's it. It's the only thing he's got is love and anger. Two things.
Oh, I get it.
But he has the temperament of a baby. He just is angry sometimes and sometimes he's happy. And he doesn't know how to communicate. I'm unhappy. Can you help me resolve this? So he just smashes. The fact that now he's been the Hulk for so long and now he's, approximately 3 to 4 years old. So listening to the temperament when Thor and Hulk have a conversation with each other, he's like, Thor's sad.
Yeah.
And he pushes him over. He's like, you bad friend. He hurts his feelings and he like, he gets upset like a child would. And I think that's really good. That's just a really good way to do it. It's unfortunate that right after this movie, Banner's like, oh yeah, just put, the best of both worlds. Hey, now I'm a big green. Now I'm Dr. Hulk. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. I liked this characterization of Hulk now that he's got more communication skills, I guess. Because he's funny. Yeah, it's funny to like have a child on the team, essentially.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this was probably the best iteration of Hulk.
Yeah.
Like as far as him being fun on screen.
Oh, yeah. Hard agree. I think this is more entertaining than Professor Hulk that they do down the road. Although I do like the Professor Hulk thing. It's a cool
I'm excited
part of
to
the
see
arc.
it in She-Hulk.
I just wish they would have went this way sooner or done the Professor Hulk later.
Yeah.
One or the other.
One of my favorite parts was whenever it was the big arena scene with Thor facing Hulk, which I feel like was one of the biggest parts of the movie, and they probably knew that it was going to be huge. You got Thor facing off against Hulk.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. I love us to like, they're both superheroes. They used to be on the team, but now they got to beef it out.
Yeah, when Thor first realizes it's Hulk is the big contender, or the big, what'd they call him?
The champion?
The champion, yeah. He's like, oh, he's a friend from work.
Right. And Loki just, Tom Hiddleston he's like, I have to get off of this fucking planet. Because his last interaction with Hulk was absolutely having the shit slammed out of him.
Yeah, in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then that calls, like, my favorite part in the scene, like, it wasn't my friend from work. It was whenever Thor actually gets Hulk gets a hold of Thor and smashes him like he did Loki, and Loki gets up. He's like, yeah,
that's how it feels, motherfucker. Yeah, I really like that. This is the first movie where Loki's fun. Would you agree with that? Like, he's a fun character in this. This is what took him from a bad guy or like a bad guy that had a redeeming feature or two.
Yeah.
But still being a bad guy. Like, that Loki, he's the type of guy that would like, even if he's a crackhead and he's your friend, he'll still steal from you. Doesn't matter how good of friends you are. He will steal your shit because he's a crackhead.
Yeah.
That's Loki.
As long as it's helping him.
I don't have any crackhead friends. Also not taking any crackhead friend applications. But the fucking, this is the first movie where they have banter back and forth. You know what I mean? And they're both funny to each other. And it starts before Tom Hiddleston's even on the screen. When Thor shows up in Asgard, and he's like, Father. And Loki's like, oh shit. As because he wasn't expecting Thor to come back. He thought he would be on Midgard, which is Earth.
Or the guy was supposed to give him a heads up that Thor's back. He's like, he had one job.
Right, fucking Carl Urban. I wish he'd call anybody a cunt in the MCU. Yeah, no, he's fantastic in it too. I like Carl Urban as Scourge is a nice little cameo addition, even though they just kill him off. Another thing that I thought was hilarious, last time we did the podcast and we talked about Thor the Dark World, I was talking about Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam now, and how he was Fandral in the Warriors 3. And I was like, yeah, and then they didn't put him in the rest of the movies. It's actually not true. Zachary Levi is in Thor Ragnarok for like
For a
3
split
seconds.
second.
Yeah, 3 split seconds, and he just gets murdered. So that was the extent of Zachary Levi in the MCU. They just they killed him off in a couple of seconds. It's as soon as Hela gets to Asgard.
It's probably right when you sign the Shazam contract.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're dead to us."
Right? Yeah, they kill all the Warriors 3 except Sif.
Yeah.
So the other 3 are just immediately dead, including Zachary Levi, which he was probably happy about because it's freed him up to do Shazam, which honestly has been one of the better things on the Marvel slate.
On the DC
It's a little hokey, but it's kind of supposed to be.
Yeah, whenever Thor and Loki were trying to steal a ship and they're going up the elevator.
Oh yeah.
And they're like,
Let's do Get Help.
Let's do Get Help. I'm not doing Get Help.
I fucking hate
It's
Get Help.
embarrassing.
It's like, it always works though. It's
not embarrassing for me.
They come lumbering out of the elevator and Thor's carrying Loki and he's like, "Get help, my brother, he's hurt."
He's dying.
And then he just throws Loki at a group of guys because they're all huddled together.
I mean, honestly, it's not a bad plan. That's why it's so
it's really
entertaining.
not. Yeah, if you were strong enough to just hurl a man
Well, I
really
mean,
hard,
just in the sense of like you're going up against armed guards, so you don't want to like clearly they're gonna draw their arms on you instantly. So if you act like one of you is in dire help or needs dire help,
oh yeah.
they'll put their guard down a little bit.
Speaking of things being huddled together, one of my favorite vampires, one of my favorite little jokes in this, of which there are aplenty, but one of my favorite little jokes in this is Taika Waititi as Korg has kind of befriended Thor, and they're picking out weapons at the weapon rack or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, you want to use a big wooden fork?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, it's not really useful unless you're fighting 3 vampires who are huddled together." Which is cracking my shit up because he also wrote, directed, and co-starred in What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, which we also covered on the podcast. Just a fun, I don't even know if it's a nod to his previous work or just a standalone joke, but either way, I think it's a delightful little touch that this guy from a different world, who's a different creature, he's a different character or whatever, has knowledge of the myth of vampires on Earth.
Right.
So, yeah, I wonder if that's how at some point they're going to try and fold some Morbius stuff into the MCU. But, God, I just hope it's not.
Oh, so they've already announced the vampire stuff.
Oh, with Blade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll fold Morbius into it.
God, I hope not. If they do, I don't care. Redo it. Just act like it didn't happen. DC did it with the Suicide Squad. It worked out great.
Well, no, I feel like they might just place it in a different universe. Wasn't that a part of Sony's stuff?
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll put it in the
recast
Venomverse.
Who would you get for a Morbius?
I would probably stick with Jared Leto. Just start throwing up. I don't really know how the character is supposed to be played, but I just feel like Keanu Reeves could play anything.
Brilliant but menacing. Yeah, he would be a darker tone. You know what I mean? If the Joker verse had a fucking Morbius, yeah, Keanu Reeves would be great for something like that. I'm loving the action in this.
Yeah, I really like the spaceship action and how a lot of the spaceship designs are. I feel like this is probably one of the most
fucking cool.
Unique versions of spaceships I've seen like ever.
Initially when you first see Valkyrie get off her spaceship and she's got the cool like hand cannon dealios.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's a cool looking movie. Later, it shows her like flying it in broad daylight when they're going up the Devil's Anus, which is they're escaping through a black hole, and she's got her ship and she's shooting guys down or whatever.
It's the biggest.
That is a fucking dope looking spaceship, man.
Yeah, and let alone that she can like use it as like a mecha fucking tank when she's not in it.
Yeah, fucking A, dude. That's cool as shit. Some of the Sicarian people were a little generic. I could have used a little more detail on that, I guess. If I'm really nitpicking, though, because it's just like a human dude with 2 arms and 2 legs. Just
as far as being the alien.
Yeah, it's just a dude with face paint. It's not a. Right. There's nothing alien species about it.
It's supposed to be a scummy place where you probably see a little bit of every. Walk of life there. And
yeah, he just kind of sounds like a regular dude from like South Africa or something like that, just with a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel that whenever I was watching that, but now that you've said something, for sure. There wasn't much thought between a lot of the design.
There's like, besides Korg and Meek.
Korg's my favorite.
Yeah,
Just got to give some love to him.
I do like Korg. I like that he's voiced by Taika Waititi, who I think is just a funny dude.
Yeah.
He's not funny in, what's that, Free Guy? He's not funny in Free Guy.
Yeah, but I don't think his character was supposed to be.
I don't think so either. I think you're supposed to watch it and go, what a douchebag.
Yeah.
And nailed it.
Nailed it.
If that's what he's going for.
He's showing his range. He's a douchebag. Oh,
I
he'd be
guess
funny.
so. It's really smart writing, and I like the way that this is all strung together. Korg's funny. Meek's funny. He's a M6 enhanced with knives for arms or whatever. He's like he looks like a grub worm, like a purple grub worm in a exoskeleton robot suit that has knives for hands. And maybe he's funny. He's got funny body language.
And his friend's a rock guy.
His friend's a rock guy made of perishable rocks. Don't let the rocks scare you unless you're made of scissors.
Yeah, and the big fight scene at the end. Did they give Hela's... I'm pretty sure she said it right when she walked up to it, but her big wolf thing. Did she name it?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
she say a name?
She did name it. I can't remember what it is. I thought I wrote it down, but I don't have it here.
I would have liked to seen some more of that thing and Hulk fighting at the end. Because you just get a little bit of it, but I would have liked to see that.
The bit that you get it's pretty savage. Like, it's a knockdown drag out. He's having a big fight with that big ass wolf.
Yeah, give me a good 30 more seconds of that. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, that was pretty
But
cool.
the rest of that end fight scene
technically didn't even beat it, just knocked it off
just threw it off the edge, and then we found that Loki, like, from
Flat
Dark World
Asgard,
to this one, when you fall off, you can survive, you can go somewhere. So that wolf's out there somewhere. It didn't die.
Just floating through space, because with a everlasting flame, you shall live again, or whatever.
Right,
whatever
just bring anything back to life.
Whatever the word is.
Yeah, and I thought all the undead when Hela brought I don't know why those people were down there, but all the skeleton people. I thought once the undead were raised, I thought those looked really good.
Those did look cool, yeah. I like the Heimdall stuff of him not being in a giant suit of armor with a giant fucking helmet. I like him in his civvies, you know what I mean? Yeah. Still menacing though, you know what I mean? Still a threatening fella.
Yeah, they do the one scene when he has the key sword. I don't know if they name it, but the one that opens the Bifrost, but he slices through two of those undead people and the tree.
Oh yeah, it's just the Bifrost sword.
It just fucking like butter through a freaking
3-foot
oak tree.
Fuck yeah, it does. I like the way for the majority of this movie, Thor doesn't have his hammer, so he's like using just whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the arena and shit like that, and just using his fists and just fucking beating people's asses.
Yeah, in that final scene, he was double wielding swords. And I'm like, that's badass.
Yeah, it is badass. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why you'd go back to a hammer after that, or that giant fucking axe, I guess, just because he's a Viking.
He's just addicted to the power it gives him.
Just fucking loves it. Just fucking loves it.
I just want to beat you, bludgeon you. The sword just cut through you and you're dead. Now I want a couple of fucking...
Right. I'm liking Jeff Goldblum.
I feel like I really like him in everything. I don't think I've ever seen him.
Yeah, there's such a weird air about him, and like as a bunch of characters, he would have been a really bad cast in the MCU. But as the Grandmaster, he just works. And it's weird that they don't touch on him and the Collector, which we have talked about this before. But him and the Collector are brothers, like canonically in the comic books.
Yeah, I remember you saying that because I didn't know that.
It's a bummer that they killed off the Collector in the Infinity War saga at the end, but the Grandmaster is still maybe alive.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's ever going to come back into play, because I wouldn't mind to see Jeff Goldblum back in the MCU.
Yeah.
He's such a peculiar character. And
did you watch the post-credit scenes?
Yeah, where it's implied that maybe those people eat him.
Yeah, but I just thought that was a very weird scene in general. Like, why they put that scene there? I
don't know. It did seem... It seemed weird that was the scene that they went with.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, usually it's nodding towards something or kind of giving you a hope or a glimpse of a character, this or that, coming to the MCU.
Yeah, that's also true.
But it just kind of left him more open-ended. He was already open-ended, and then they just left him again open-ended.
Yeah, another thing I really liked, Rachel House, who plays like the Grandmaster's assistant.
Oh, yeah.
She's also in Hunt for Wilder People.
Oh, okay.
She plays the lady from the Child Protective Services or whatever. Because I had just watched Hunt for Wilder People the week prior, I was like, oh my God, it's the same lady. Nice.
Yeah.
And she's kind of doing the same character in both things. So I like that. I don't know. It's fun to see her in there. Because I just watched that other movie, I thought of it as an Easter egg while I was watching this. Right. Although technically it's not. It's just a lady cast in a different role.
Yeah, she had a nice little one line in there whenever Goldblum asked her. It's like, oh, when Valkyrie comes in, she's like, remember what I was saying about Valkyrie? It's like, I say it all the time. It begins with a B. What do I call it? He's
trash.
Like, trash. No, you just waiting to call her trash.
Doesn't even rhyme. You just waiting to call her trash. She was.
I really like how the movie ends with Asgard not being a place, it's a people, which is a through line for a lot of cultures, or I mean not through line, but it's a lot of like, I feel like it connects with a lot of cultures because a lot of people or a lot of cultures are displaced and you end up not having your homeland.
Yeah, immigrants.
So,
yeah, they're just now Asgardians are immigrants. So where do they go? Naturally, Norway. But not very many of them, because in the post-credits, they are intercepted by Thanos.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Who's about to rip them a new Anos.
Ooh,
in the Thanos copter.
If only.
If only. Just at any point in time. He's too dignified to be in a helicopter at any point, I think, in this. But, yeah, loving that. I'm loving the... I wonder in the bit in the next movie where they're like, oh man, it's Thanos and he's on the ship or whatever. And he's like, rejoice, you'll be killed by Thanos or whatever. Where's Korg? I mean, I know he's not near as powerful as Thor.
Yeah, but in the next...
He's alive later, so where is he during that? Because it looks like they just fucking murdered everybody.
Yeah, that's the truth right there. Yeah, I didn't think about that. It does make sense.
Truth. And Meek. Because Meek's alive too, and he's just a fucking slug. Or whatever. How'd he survive? He's got no exoskeleton suit. Nothing. He just is a...
Yeah, I think one of the last things that really left me kind of thinking at the end of this movie is... So they end up destroying Asgard because Loki ends up going back to the vault and putting Surtur's head in the internal flame.
Oh, yeah.
But Loki is the last one in the vault, and he knows that Asgard's going to be just demolished.
Oh, yeah.
So he has some time. He could take anything from the throne or from the vault.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't the Tesseract still in there?
Yeah, he like takes a pause to stop and look at it on his way to put Surtur's helmet in the everlasting flame or whatever it is. Eternal flame.
Yeah, I just feel like it's interesting that, I mean, there's a ton of different weapons and lore and shit that's in there that
all
he
kinds
just
of cool
has
shit.
his choice of whatever he wants.
The one thing you should have fucking left there. That's the one thing. Yeah, so he does. He takes the Tesseract on the ship, and as far as the story goes chronologically after this movie, they figuratively get caught with their pants down. Speaking of getting caught with your pants down, support for It's Just Two Movies is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And, I think... if my math is correct on that, that's nearly 12 million balls. But you can use the code 2movies at manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping.
Just the number. The
number 2, the word movies, no space, code 2movies. So Manscaped is, that's part of a copy that I had to read, but I do actually want to talk about this for a bit. Manscaped was kind enough to actually send us a bunch of free shit. So, we are going to shave our balls.
Nice. I'll do you, you do me.
It's just a nice product. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a nice thing. It's got a nice ergonomic feel. The back of it's soft, which is, nice considering what you're putting it on. I like the torch.
No, the light on it?
Yeah, that's helpful to get in all those crevices and whatnots. It's just it's a really nice fucking thing. So let's see him. I'll do you first.
All right, let's pull it out. How you like them apples?
Good God, looks like a Brillo pad trying to strangle a garden hose. So inside this package, if you do the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, which is a ear and nose hair trimmer, which I've actually already used a couple of times since they sent it to us, a Crop Preserver ball deodorant, which is a real work saver in the Midwest heat here, Crop Reviver toner. I haven't had the chance to use that yet, but it's like a spritz.
Yeah,
thing,
it's just
right?
kind of like a light perfume
For
or a
your-
light cologne.
For the nads?
for the nether regions.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
liking
just give you a
that.
little fresh smell. You know, somebody's like, "Oh, you smell good." Now you can be like, "It's my balls."
Ball deodorant actually sounds more practical than underarm deodorant. You know what I mean? Like, as a man, if I had never heard of the concept of deodorant and somebody's like, this
Right,
is deodorant, it goes on your balls, I would go, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about that though is that it's the anti-chafing. So if you do chafe or already use something for that, you can just cut that out and only use this product.
Well, I feel that as a man with very powerful, thunderous thighs. I get that. I'm here for it. I'm down with spending a long, hot, muggy St. Louis day at fucking Six Flags. All about it. All about keeping the balls comfy.
You also do that. Did you mention did the underwear come in that pack? Or was that
Yeah. I got the underwear too. Those are they've got a nice like breathiness to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if it's like a sweat wick away type of deal or what
that's
it
what
is,
it
but
said.
they're quite comfortable in like a breezy boxer brief, which that's what I wear anyway.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. It's the fourth generation trimmer, features a cutting edge ceramic blade, cutting edge, get it? To reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and has a 4000K LED spotlight where you need a more precise shave. I wouldn't have thought just putting a tiny little LED on a razor trimmer would make such a difference. But man, I am really like getting in here into your grundle. You see all this hair falling away?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and if I was doing it myself, I typically would be like leaning over, and then depending on how your light is
Excuse me,
set
I'm
up.
so sorry. Could you lift this out of my way?
Oh, yep.
Okay,
Is that better? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. And when you're leaning over, if you don't have the correct lighting, you're casting a shadow on yourself, so you might need a little light.
Yeah. Not a lot of people have those ring lights to photograph your genitals.
Right.
Birdman. Looking at you. So the Weed Whacker, by the way, the ear, hair, and nose
I
trimmer.
use that.
Also, I'm loving that fucking thing. Also waterproof. So doing that one in the shower saves a little countertop cleanup.
Nice,
Yeah, I'm loving that. Another thing that I thought was really slick is the wireless charger.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
That's the sleekest thing about it. Like, the razor itself looks sleek and looks, next level. But just the wireless charger, set it on the dock and forget it.
You ever peep one of those like wireless charger fucking trimmers like in Walmart or something like that, just looking at the other ones? Jesus Christ, they're expensive. And just look like any other trimmer. That's that's the method of charge. There's nothing else about them that's better. This thing, I mean, you can just fucking hold this thing in your hand and go, okay, this is a nice. Whoever designed this cares about my testicles. And if you've ever had someone care about your testicles, you know that that's a special relationship. What in the fuck was that?
Banshees.
Okay, we're being invaded by banshees. Luckily, we'll have smooth balls when they get here. You know
Smooth as eggs.
Sorry, yeah. Hold this now to the left.
That's far enough?
Yeah, that's good. It's perfect. So, because the trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the floor, which is a huge fucking thing. Just trim my shit in the shower, wash it all down to the drain, fucking pick it up, throw it in the can.
Done, son.
Bye fucking broom and moist towelette to clean up all the loose little hair bits all over the floor.
Yeah, to get the garden hose out. I usually got it all over the sink, all over the toilet. I got to clean
all
the
over
rugs.
the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the performance package, like you were saying, the boxers, I got a shirt also, which I just thought was really nice. But that comes in the package. Like if you go get the performance package, it just comes in there. Nice comfy t-shirt, which you are wearing presently.
I'm sporting it now.
Yeah, mine. I was so happy with my smooth balls. I jerked off and used it as a cum rag. So it's currently in the washer.
Oh, that's why it's standing right there.
That's why it's standing up in the corner. That's exactly right. So if you're taking care of your junk, taking care of your nads, your fat pad, the surrounding shaft and other bits of your genitals or whatever your genitalia may be, doesn't matter if you're a man or a lady or any non-binary people. You still like a high and tight and not to rock that 70s bush. I know the old style's coming back, but not in the bush. It's not. At least I don't think so anyway. Not for me. I'm not, that's not how I like my own situation. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to take care of yourself, you might as well do it with a superior product for seriously a much more reasonable price. And you can get an extra 20% off and free shipping with code 2movies at Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code 2movies at manscaped.com. That is 20% with free fucking shipping, just so you understand that part. 20% off, and you don't have to pay for shipping. So it's two things there. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So I guess next time you come on the show, for the second half of the show, maybe you can shave my balls and we'll...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little time consuming.
Okay. That all sounds good. So, Thor Ragnarok, how you liking your thumbs? What kind of thumbs you want?
I'm liking all the thumbs.
You want meek sword hand thumbs?
Meek swords?
Yeah,
Meeky swords?
Meek swords thumbs.
All right. With some sword thumbs, if I had to rate this movie, since, you're holding a razor to my balls, I guess.
Yeah, I am holding a razor to your balls still. We're done shaving, but I'm still holding it there.
Doing that, yeah. I could pull up my pants, but
look, it just reduces nicks, doesn't prevent them.
Right. I'm going to have to give it a solid, straight 9 whole sword thumbs.
Solid.
A
testicle,
a nard sign.
A nard solid 9 Thor meek sword thumbs. Sounds about right up my alley also. Again, I know that we just kind of abruptly did that ad and went out of it. We'll be a little more natural with it moving forward. However, that is not a fake ad. I just want to make that perfectly clear. Just so it's perfectly clear, now that we've both given Thor Ragnarok 9 thumbs, we're going to go watch a different Thor movie that is in no way related to the MCU, but is also not that old. It's called Thor End of Days? Thor End of Days. And we'll be right back with that movie we're going to go watch.
We're gonna get up in it, boy.
All right, we're back. We watched Thor End of Days. If you're wondering if it's a Marvel movie, it's not. But, you can't copyright The Legend of Thor. I would love to give you some details about this movie, but there aren't a lot when you just Google it. It says Thor End of Days movie.
That's the genre.
That's what it says. Movie. I swear to God, that's the genre movie. Just Google Thor End of Days, and you'll get it. It's a movie. It doesn't tell you the runtime, but it was. We watched it on Tubi with ads. It fucking took
for free.
Forever.
So
yeah, it was free though. It's on Tubi. We did have a couple of laughs at it. It's got a 2.7 out of 10 on IMDb, directed by Thomas Shapiro, starring Max Aria, Jackie Holland, and Mike Milan. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I was not having a whole lot of fun with this. This frustrated me probably more than anything. But worst of all, it had to have been Jackie Holland, who was just flat as shit.
You can tell that she got hired off of her...
She got hired off her good looks, not off her ability to act. Yeah. There's just no... What she will say is, get out of there. It's not safe. Go as far away as you can. What she won't say is, get out of there. It's fat. Look, it's not safe. Get out of the house. Get out of there. She won't do that. She's just saying everything flat as shit. The guy that's playing Thor fine, I guess, but that haircut's not doing it for me, and he needs roids, I guess.
Yeah, he's got a weird, greasy, like kind of emo hairstyle.
Yeah, he's looking like the guy from Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas. He's doing a Rob Thomas haircut thing, I think.
Yeah, I didn't dig it either.
It doesn't look Thor. He's got like a 5 o'clock shadow or like a 1 day beard instead of a beard. Like nothing about him reads Thor, the god of thunder.
Do they ever call him Thor?
No. As a matter of fact, in the subtitles it said Protector.
Defender,
that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think it, like, even at the end.
No,
like,
I mean, that's obviously who he's supposed to be, and they can even name the movie that. But maybe they don't say it deliberately, like you don't say zombies in a zombie movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird mix of things. So here's what happens in the movie. Loki and Thor are having a fight. Loki kills Odin and then escapes with a magic sphere that allows him to, I don't know, capture people's mind. It's the Mind Stone. He's got the Mind Stone. It works a little bit differently, but that's what it is. So Thor, he gets his memory wiped and he goes back to Earth and he's got to stop Loki. So he picks up this gal along the way. He saves her, and all he knows is you got to go north. Something's telling me I got to go north. Like the fact that we're making a movie and I have to go someplace in it. Not any kind of story or character building thing or like anything other than because I think it's a good idea.
Because it's north.
Yeah. So he goes north. What's there? It's the hammer at Mjolnir. Maybe, I don't know, that he wasn't like, Mjolnir, you old girl. It's been a while. How are you? And then he beats Loki, and everything's fine.
And that's the movie.
That's the movie. Yeah. I don't know why it was so long.
Yeah, it was very weird how they did the story. Like they never. I know some movies are kind of like, I guess, suspense to where you are in the knowledge of the main character, so you don't know more than what the main character does. And other movies do it opposite to where you know.
And he literally has amnesia for the
right,
first half
so you
of the
just
movie.
don't know. Well, it's not even that. That never gets clarified of why he had amnesia.
Nope. He's just like, it's fine now. Don't worry about it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to live now.
Right.
So you're just an amnesia patient that's just now got Stockholm Syndrome, so you want to live where it's familiar, which is the place you've known for a week.
Right, yeah. Something about this feels to me like a made-for-TV movie produced by the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
It just has a particular feel about it that reminds me of shows made by the Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know what it is, if it's like a pacing thing or like maybe the ambiance or the score, but puts me in that.
Yeah, the camera work.
Yes, something.
The only thing that made me not think it was the like flashbacks to him on Asgard or wherever the big battle was, to where, or like the big like animated scenes. Those I thought looked pretty cool and didn't really seem too Sci-Fi Channel, but all the live action actual stuff on Earth was just...
When they're just like walking in the street, you're like, fucking come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like it's bad. It's just, it's got a distinct feel, and I don't normally associate it with things that I really, really put myself into. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy them. I just, if you can actually suck me in there, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. One of the funny parts that I thought whenever, that was just unexpectedly funny was whenever Thor's in the back of a cop car and Loki comes up. I think it was Loki. It might have been one of the people he mind possessed.
Oh, yeah.
But he shoots the cops, and the cop, like after taking those bullets, he like starts the car and then just takes off driving.
He doesn't just take the bullet. He got like 6 rounds, center of mass. Like he unloads half that fucking clip in that dude. And he's just like, oh, he's slumped over. He's very clearly dead. And then, he just fires, turns the engine over and takes off.
Yeah, then he like dies partway through the car chase. So he's just accelerating. So Thor's like, oh shit, hey, wake up, dead guy. He's like, oh, he can't, so I'm going to jump out of this car that's been speeding up for like a minute or two.
Oh, yeah.
And he rolls one time. Like he was like he just tripped and fell, and that was he just rolls once and oh no.
Yeah, man, some of the action I like the way they're like, oh, it's Thor, he's a literal god of thunder. And he just has the strength of a normal man.
What I thought was weird, and I honestly would not be surprised, is if they shot this movie and they had this movie like already done in post-production, and then Thor like came out and was a hit, and they're like, oh, we could just literally change the flashbacks, because that's the only thing other than the ending where they put in the hammer. But
yeah.
Loki didn't really seem like Loki, you know, he was just a hooded, masked figure. You could have gave him any name, and he was dubbed over to where like his voice wasn't.
Imagine Sub-Zero in a cloak, even shooting the
ice.
Sub-Zero beams, but it's not actually ice; it's energy. But it looks just like that. I like the look though, and how it moves in practicality. I don't know, but like on pen and paper, if somebody were to show me a sketch of that, I'd be like, oh, that looks badass.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Kylo Ren from Star Wars. When he's got his cloak up and how his mask has the little mouth guard.
He even had a scepter.
He had like a mace scepter.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Bludgeon the fuck out of some people.
Yeah, had the sphere in it. He would choke a motherfucker and then say some incantation and suck their soul out. But it looked like he was freezing them to death like Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I really loved how this movie... A lot of good movies you watch. I mean, this was probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. But in other good movies that you watch, there's always, or kind of like I was saying with Ragnarok, how they did it really well with doing those whip pans to where you would go from this place to that place and it'd take like 2 seconds.
This is a good example of how not to do that.
Yeah, and you travel. But this movie is like, instead of basing it on all the important shit, we're just going to base it on the travel scenes. So all the shit where like normally like when you're in a cop car and you're getting traveled somewhere, that scene's not there.
How does one get upstairs? You know what I mean?
How do I?
If you go upstairs in the woods and nobody's around to see it, did it happen?
So this movie did it well. Because like, oh, what happens when you get arrested and you're having to be booked in the back of a cop car?
Yeah,
oh wait,
Thor,
and
the
then
God
you
of
get
Thunder,
and then you get shot. So you have to go to the hospital? Okay, let's take you to the hospital. We're going to go to the ER. We're going to revive you. Yeah. And that's all in this movie.
Thor, the God of Thunder, son of Odin, takes 15 minutes to get out of zip tie handcuffs. There's weird choices about it. Like, that should be a thing where he's just like, just casually takes them apart and he's like, listen,
like a human could get out of that. If they knew how.
Yeah, I've seen YouTube videos of dudes getting out of fucking...
Yeah, a bunch of zip ties.
Yeah, that evidently ain't that big of a deal. But for a guy that's like a god, essentially... What?
Or even he is ripped in the movie, so even if he's just a ripped guy, you know.
He's like you can tell he's fit
right.
in the movie.
Yeah, he's not overly...
Yeah, but he's not like Hemsworth fucking jacked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You need a big jacked dude, I think, with a beard and long hair. I think those are the only 3 requirements, and they didn't do any of them.
Maybe call him Thor.
Maybe at least by name. Yeah, they could be like, hey, young Thor, because maybe you're not super jacked yet, because you're
That's
still
why
younger.
I honestly think they could have just made those flashbacks Thor, or like they made that and then just gave it the tagline of Thor, or the title Thor, because he's never called Thor, and the villain that they call Loki is, like I said, masked, where they dub over what he says, so they could just make him... I feel like we can do it. All right, this is the first, it's just 2 movies movie.
Yeah.
Let's actually make it better.
This movie?
Yeah.
Right now?
We could just dub over Loki's thing.
He, like, man, his shit was just... bland. Just a bunch of it's bland. The only person out there that's trying is Max Aria, and he's just not very good either.
Is that Thor?
Yeah, it's the guy that plays Thor. Like, he's trying.
This is his big break.
Yeah,
and
well,
flop.
Good.
That's why you haven't heard of him.
If I had to recast anybody in this movie at all in another movie, it would be that guy, because he's literally the only one trying. Is it good? No, but he's making an attempt. Everybody else in this is just very flat.
Yeah.
The Loki thing is menacing, but that's more the look than it is the actor,
for sure.
I think.
Yeah,
it just, because there's not much to him. He's very one-dimensional. He's evil for what reasons? I don't know. Seemed like a good idea.
Seems like we can make money on it.
He just, why wouldn't he want power, it's very bland. A lot of it's real bland, and for a lot of it, Thor is just a dude.
Yeah, just a straight dude too, not even an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's not funny. He doesn't have any weird observations like, well, I'm from a different universe. Where am I now? Oh, Circle K. Great.
Right.
Or, whatever the Circle K is a gas station or a petrol station, depending on where you're listening from.
Yeah, he's an alien with amnesia, so literally everything should be new to him.
Yeah.
And he just has nothing to say about it, nothing that sticks out as weird.
No, it's weird. And it's because at the end, they're very like, oh, every person that, Loki came into contact with, they're all fine. Everybody's like waking up from their comas or whatever. And then they're like, everything's great the next day. And they're walking down the beach. And I was like, he killed like 17 cops. Like police. Like where they're like, all right, buddy. 2 of them were dicks. The rest of them were just like, stop what you're doing. It just murdered the shit out of them. All of them. And they act as though it just didn't happen. I think that's a common trope in movies like this. As long as the people that get killed in the movie are all like vaguely of the same uniform and nondescript, doesn't matter. Because they're not main characters. So it doesn't take anything away from the story. But I always think that's interesting about these like air quotes superhero type of movies is they'll use that trope even if it's like a character who generally is supposed to not be a murderer.
Yeah.
Like which Captain America was it? Winter Soldier, where Captain America kills like 12 dudes on a cruise ship or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Just absolutely murders them, and they never talk about it. It's a humorous thing that they put in these movies that I always am like, what?
Yeah.
He just didn't like the next scene wasn't, I feel pretty guilty about. They were just trying to do their thing, and
they were just doing their job. And
I could have not killed. I could have beat them and not killed them, but I killed every one of them because I'm superhuman. I didn't have to murder them, but I chose to. It's fucking crazy, man. But then it's a hero and everything's fine and the story's nice and everything ended nicely and all was well ever after or whatever. I think there's zombies in the thing also as part of it, but they're also people because everybody else just woke up. So
right.
But not those characters, and they don't address it. It's weird. It's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, those are fine.
It's like Pedestrians, how they only address all the people that got killed in Sokovia like once in the MCU.
That's what all with Civil War?
Yeah.
The Sokovia Accords?
Oh, not the Accords.
That was
okay, sorry. I was talking about the actual
Ultron, when it actually happened.
Yeah, I got you, dog. I'm struggling to think of anything else to say about this.
It was really bad. I don't know how people even got involved in it.
That's why it's free on Tubi. My biggest regret is that I didn't just rent it, so we could have not strung it out with commercials.
Yeah.
That's my biggest regret, because I'm like, Jesus, it's slow as shit anyway.
There was honestly more entertainment with the commercials.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I definitely left more. And one of the commercials I hadn't seen before, and I was like, that's clever. I like that. I don't remember what the product was, so I guess the commercial failed, but it was a funny joke. What else to say about
Thor End of Watch?
Okay, so I think I've exhausted everything I can say about this because really nothing happens.
I feel like I haven't honestly said really anything about it.
It's
and that's what
happens.
The movie does for itself.
Yeah, there's nothing happens. There's a couple of weird scenes, notably one where they're pulled over in the van or whatever, and they've got the hood popped, and the cop pulls them over.
That's another one of the scenes that's usually cut out whenever, you're having a road trip and you break down. We'll just cut that scene out. You'll get point A to B. You had some troubles. No, we're going to dwell 20 minutes. Your car broke down.
Yeah,
Let's fix it.
Exactly. Good 15-minute segment of the movie of nothing happening.
Oh, no, that's how they got the main girl out of her shirt. So they did 15 minutes. So, okay, she's got to take her shirt off to touch a hot...
touch a hot thing on the car that she doesn't do. Like, I assume she's taking her shirt off to take the radiator cap off and doesn't do it, just takes her shirt off. And then, later in the scene, she just has it back on. It's just a weird combo of stuff. The cop that walks up and you're like, he's going to get murdered, and he doesn't get murdered, and then they walk away and the car is started, and like, why'd the car break down anyway? You guys could have done this dialogue in the car. You could have done it while you're getting out of the car, while you're walking into the place that you're going into. You could have done it anyway. Right, but you have to make this whole breakdown scene about it, and it just... There are structurally some really odd choices in this that could have just needed a rewrite. Just comb over it and go, what would this look like? How do we make it snappier, I guess? Make it interesting, because like the writing's not good either. So the parts where they are having this dialogue, it's not good. It's just like soap opera stuff. So... what would you do differently if somebody gave you free reign on this? What are you thinking?
On this movie?
Yeah. I'd get Chris Hemsworth.
Tom
Hiddleston.
Yeah, I'd get Taika Waititi to direct it.
Yeah, I'd get Natalie Portman.
No, I honestly feel like the director... I mean, I hate throwing shade, but the director just, I don't know if it's his first movie or what, but just doesn't have an eye for film. I don't know if it's the storytelling or what it is. Get rid of the director, because I feel like the director would be able to fix a lot of even the writing.
Well, in this case, also...
without having a direct hand on writing the script.
In this case, also, I would say, because it does look so generic, that makes me feel like that might have also been in large part of the studio, because it does feel so cookie cutter. And they want cookie cutter because cookie cutter's safe. They know what they're going to get with cookie cutter.
Yeah, and if it's straight to TV, that's...
Yeah, so there are occasions where a director they'll get the directing credit, but they didn't really direct the movie. They just move the camera around a bit, no, shoot it from this angle. They just want a flat, plain old shit, which is a shame. It goes to a thing we were talking about in the news thing. It's like, just let the creative people do what the creative people do. It might take a little longer, but you're gonna get what they wanted to give.
Yeah, it's like James Cameron's work, how he's always notorious for going over budget and taking way longer.
Mm-hmm.
But then his shit's always top of the...
She's banging, baby.
Yeah, top of the... what is it, box office.
That's very true. I think he owns his own submarine and shit, and he loves the deep sea adventure.
I believe it. Yeah, I feel, the director just has to be different. Put Taika in there. He'll fix it up quick.
Boom.
Lickety split. It can be low budget. You've seen what he can do.
Yeah, he really can do shit on low budget. You know what I mean? If he's got good actors, that's it. You have to have a good professional acting cast. Who would you get? All right, real talk. Not Hemsworth is off limits. Any Hemsworth are off limits.
Fuck.
Who do you get to play Thor or Defender?
Or Defender number
Protector.
1. Ooh, let's dwell on it. Okay, let's just go back.
I thought Loki was fine. I would just give him more something. He didn't have enough of anything to be bad.
Yeah.
Appearance was fine. Just, doctor it up a bit. It looked okay, though. I thought it looked MCU comparable, but with a cloak instead of comic book accurate big horns. But for Thor, what do you think?
For Thor, that's not a Hemsworth.
I don't know who's swole enough.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just trying to, because people always do those transformations. Like, Chris...
They just get huge?
Chris wasn't, huge before Thor, was he?
I don't think so.
He was probably fit, but not jacked like how he was. I'll take Black Thor. Give me Jonathan Majors. as Thor.
That'd be bad. I bet he could get swole too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're thinking of somebody, like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't like. I'm struggling to think of another one. Dev Patel comes to mind, but he's not blonde. He certainly doesn't look Nordic. He's got, you know what I mean, like darker features. But I think that he could do it.
Who's the? Isn't there a boy bander that's getting into acting? He was.
He's in Eternals.
Oh yeah,
Styles.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. Yeah.
Teamwork. Yeah, I feel like he could do well. He could get jacked.
Yeah, maybe so. That might be good casting. You'd have to give him, long hair and probably not bleach blonde eyebrows like in the first Thor thing.
Right.
What do you think about the drop for this story? That just Loki wants to kill everybody or enslave everybody which I think is kind of fine because that's sort of his game.
Sort of his MO anyway.
Yeah, it's sort of his MO anyway. He just wants to rule.
I feel like we would definitely have to fix the amnesia part. Why did Thor get casted out? I mean, it's kind of like Thor 1 from the MCU. Like, he got banished because he wasn't worthy.
Yeah.
And then you could just take his memory away because he's a dickhead.
Because he's a bitch, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you.
And his fucking dope armor. No dope armor in this. Just a weird...
Yeah, I think you had the perfect tagline. Perfect tagline for this movie. Thor, where's my hammer?
Right.
That cracked me up.
Because that is
what it is.
If this movie, I don't have the runtime in front of me, but if this movie is 2 hours long, an hour and 45 minutes of it is where's my hammer?
Yeah, and I feel like actually if we kind of turn into where's my hammer, you can make that the movie.
Technically, it's not where's my hammer. It's because he has amnesia. It's where's that thing?
Yeah, where is?
I don't know the thing. I'll know it when I see it.
It's north. But so that's how you can fix it. Thor, he's a known party animal. Just have him go out on a bender. That's the opening scene.
Yeah.
Him going out on a bender, hitting his head.
Just make it more fun, because this is not fun. Well, it doesn't even have to be fun. He can be super dramatic and serious, and that's okay. But this isn't that either. So it's got to be...
one or the other.
Something. It's just a dude being like, where's that thing I put it? Where is that? Where is that thing that I'm looking for? You know the thing. I'll know it when I see it. It's that for, what'd you say? It's an hour 30?
Yeah.
It's that for an hour and 20 minutes. Literally. What was it? There was 15 minutes left, and he's like, it's here. They're getting into the crack, and I was like, well, this will take 5 minutes, and then they only need 10 minutes to finish the... And that's exactly what fucking happened. He does a little fight with Loki, and... as you predict, he wins, and then it's over. So something else that with Loki being such a trickster, there needs to be there's no tricks in this. There's no mischief. No. It's just the fact that he can control other people's minds, and it looks like Sub-Zero in a cloak and hood.
I mean, I guess he is a witch or wizard. What is he? What does he he classify himself?
In this,
I know he's a god of mischief, but
I don't think he does.
Well, yeah, not in this. No, nobody is anything in this.
No.
Thor's not even a god of thunder.
No.
He's not even Thor.
No, he's protector or defender, whatever his fucking name is. Yeah, it's just a weird combination of shit. I don't know what necessarily you would do to fix it, but it seems like Thor is kind of doing a sort of a hero's journey on it, or that's what he's supposed to be doing, but it doesn't. So. It's not. That's not what it winds up being. That might have been where it started, but that's not where it ends. So if it's going to be some sort of journey expedition, maybe make it feel like he goes somewhere that's just not like lost on Earth for a couple of days. Because that's what it winds up being. It's just like, imagine if Thor came to Earth and then like 3 days later he found his hammer and he was like, all right, I'll beat your ass. And then I'm like, all right, it's over. because they didn't say how much time elapsed in this, but I feel like post-watching it, it was 3 days.
Well, I think that's
4
what it
days?
was, because whenever... Well, it's once Thor and that chick actually linked up completely.
Oh, yeah.
He said she hasn't slept for 2 days.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
You know why he got lucky? Because his balls were so goddamn smooth.
Smooth as eggs.
Just fucking smooth as eggs. That's how the mating ritual in Asgard. They just put their nuts on the table, and they're like, "Oh,
like what you see."
Yeah, and she'll come inspect your eggs and see if you're ready to.
And if she doesn't like them, she smashes them.
Fuck.
That's Asgard for you.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna get them smashed, might as well not have them covered in pubes. Manscaped, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real ad, by the way. 2 movies. It's a real thing. We'll give you 20% off and free shipping. Anyway, back to this stupid piece of shit that I hate. Boy, I just don't like it, Dave. There's
nothing to like about it.
Not a lot of redeeming stuff about it. I feel like I only even had like 3 like giggles at it. The rest of it was just like, how stupid is this? Haha.
Yeah, just he had to sit through it.
Yeah, it did kind of feel like, it felt like a chore. You know what I mean? I wasn't enjoying it necessarily. What do you think let's go ahead and rate this fucking thing and move on. What are you thinking for thummy thumbs?
For thumbs? If I have half thumbs?
Let's say that you have, I guess let's say like you have 10, where are my thumbs?
Oh, if I didn't know where they were?
Yeah. How many of them would you give to this thing?
Ooh, I would give it a half of a star.
I'm giving it 0.
I didn't know that was an option.
I'm mad. I'm upset that we watched this. I really was like leaning into, hey, Danny, in my own head. I'm like, Danny, why don't you make a joke about this movie? And then I go, okay, I'll make a joke about it, Danny. And then I would watch the movie and then I would go, there's nothing. It's just not anything. It's just people fucking running around and then the dude fights a dude after he finds a hammer. And then
they're like, oh shit, we can make this a Thor movie.
It's fucking so stupid. It generally kind of upsets me that I sat through it. But we did get to review it for the podcast, which gives me a positive feeling about having watched it. But I don't like it. And I would never revisit it ever. I don't think.
Well, there is a sequel.
There's a sequel? Well, then we'll be back the next time on It's Just 2 Movies. Is it really same cast?
I don't know. I was looking at it. It looks like some of it is called the same movie. Some of it is like how that movie started. It popped up and said Thor, God of Thunder. Like it never said End of Days. It said like in the tagline of the movie.
No,
it said God of Thunder.
Yeah, you're right.
And whenever you look up a different movie, it's the same characters, but it has a different like movie poster that looks like it's on a different world, and it's called God of Thunder.
Weird.
So I don't know if it was maybe just remastered. Probably.
Shit, man. I would watch that though, because there's not even any really special effects in here apart from the Sub-Zero shit.
Yeah, and the lightning storm. There's some
CGI lightning stuff that's okay.
Well, it's probably just generic. You can probably just get that on Photoshop for free.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. This whole thing's fucking stupid. So I'm going to give it a 0. Would you give it a 0.5?
A 0.5, a half of a thumb.
0.5. They did make
where's
it.
My thumb.
They
That's
did
what
make it.
Like, people did try. I mean...
Yeah, that's like at the end of a soccer game when your team won 26-2 and you're high-fiving the other team. That's that feeling. I'm like, well, you tried.
You did it.
You showed up.
Like, if I knew who made it, I'd be like, good job, I tried.
Yeah, no, I don't ever want to come across the fact that I wish these people wouldn't have made this movie. I'm glad they made a thing.
Yeah, I hope they made some money on it.
I hope they feel...
We watched it.
If I would have been involved in this movie,
we watched at least 18 ads over it.
Dude, I would feel such a sense of accomplishment if I worked on something like this and was part of making it.
Right.
However, I would also realize that it's not good. failures are still,
Right.
you can still make failures, and that's okay. But that's what this is, and I am not into it.
Right. That's what this episode is, and just end it.
Just fucking wait. We have another segment.
Hey, what you watching?
What you been watching, Dave?
What I've been watching? Well, I haven't really hinted at it, but I did make it to theaters
You did hint
to
at
watch
it a bit.
that Thor with Love Comes in Thunder.
Ooh, okay.
And it was good. I really liked it. I know you said last time I was on that people were dogging on it. I haven't really talked to anybody or really looked online to see what people were saying, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I did too. Same.
But I did go into it knowing that it was going to be like a sci-fi comedy. So like I can definitely see if you go into it thinking it's going to be a little bit more serious or action driven that you could have been taken out by it because it was overly quirky.
Yeah.
And I love that, but I can definitely see if you don't like the quirkiness, he goes over the top.
And next time you're on, we'll do a deep dive on this movie. So I don't want to get too much into it, but I will say one thing. I did notice a lot of holes in it or weird things that I'm like, I don't think that's character accurate. Like,
that's
it's kind of jarring or whatever. I did notice a lot of things like that in the movie. I just forgave it because it's a comic book movie. Like, I just don't really. It's not
a comedy.
It's not that big of a deal. Do you know how many things have been retconned in the MCU since they started Iron Man 1? Lots.
6.
That's how many.
Yeah.
Lots of things can be retconned. Like, even part of this down the road, 5 movies later, you might not give a shit. So, what's also what I like about these, their episodic unfolding is very charming. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
What else I've been watching?
Yeah, what else?
I've been playing a little bit. Fall Guys came out on a console a little while ago for free. You ever play that?
You've been playing it on what?
I've been playing it on the Switches. I did play it on PC for a little while.
I think that's cross-console, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I'll add you when we're done here and we can play together. I played that actually with a couple of guys online.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah. And
it's a fun little game.
They're all right for the most part. What's up, boys?
Yeah. Anything else? I don't think I've really been catching anything else.
Well, let me tell you about the most exciting thing that happened to me. I know I said I hadn't seen it, but last night at 11:42 p.m. or whatever time it was, I logged on and looked at Hulu. I noticed that Prey was already out. So I put it on, and I watched the first, hour and 10 minutes, and I was really, really fucking into it, and could not hold my eyes open any longer. So I haven't finished it, but I'm really looking forward to finishing the last 15-20 minutes of it because I was really into it. It's really fun, well put together, and it's not hokey. You know what I mean? It's more horror element, which is what it's supposed to be.
Right, that's what they should lean into.
Yeah, but a lot of times they don't. They're like, it's action.
Yeah, they're trying to make it more for everybody.
Don't you guys love guns and bombs and shit? Which I do. But isn't the part of the Predator the fact that what's terrifying about the Predator is
he's hunting you.
He's hunting you and you can't see him. He's fucking literally invisible. And he's an intergalactic hunter, and he's got your number. That's what's terrifying about him. But a lot of times they'll just be like, "Oh, he's invisible. He's invisible with a bazooka." That's not scary. That's badass, but it's not scary,
right?
So yeah, that's one thing I've been checking out. What else did I watch? I checked out. What the fuck was it called? I feel like I might have gone on to another true crime thing. I can't recall. Maybe I'll come back to it. I have been playing some video games, though. Not any new ones since last time I talked about it on the show. But since last time I saw you, I played and beat Spiritfarer, which is on... Because I've got an Xbox now, so I've got Game Pass. It's free on Game Pass, but I think it's also on Switch. It's like a time management game. Super fun. I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. It's a blast. I've been playing some Halo, Rocket League. Been getting back into some Rocket League. That's been a lot of fun. Yeah, just spending a lot of time playing some games. I picked up a mobile game that I actually used to play like a year and a half ago, and I just got back onto it. It's called Simple MMO.
Oh yeah, I remember you playing that a while back.
Yeah, it just, man, it's a fun game. It's like really text-based, just a text-based RPG, but it is absolutely a blast. The app is really well put together, so the menus are nice, they flow, they make sense. What I would consider to be user-friendly for a text-based thing. Community's great. Everybody seems pretty great in there to interact with and deal with, and just a fun, easy, passive game to pass the time. How about you, Dave? You ever get into any mobile games?
Mobile games like that, I did play a little bit of Contest of Champions. I do play Unite on mobile. I'm still playing Unite. Honestly, I did play Clash Royale. You ever play that one?
No. I know which game you're talking about,
Yeah.
though, because I get Instagram ads for it and
Yeah,
shit.
all the time, probably. Yeah, no, that one's fun. I did recently pick up Diablo 2 Resurrected. Been playing through that again for the 100th time. It's fun.
What class are you playing as?
I did just, because I picked up that and Diablo 3 and that bundle, because I didn't have it on Xbox.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3 last 2 days. I was a wizard on that. But, I did Druid on Diablo 2 is what I started.
That's a fun class.
I just got to Act 3. Yeah, no, it's really fun. I love just having the horde.
The Druid's fun. When I started playing Resurrected again, I started with an Amazon, and then I realized that I had picked the wrong setting to like play online with people. So I was like, fuck, I had to start over because I couldn't transfer that character.
Yeah.
And when I started over, I went with the Druid. And man, I was building like a fire Druid at the time. I was getting ready to respec him in like 3 more levels.
I really liked how they added that.
How you can
could
respec.
Reset the reset your skills, reset your stats.
It's crazy because like I'm playing the game, the Diablo 2 Resurrected, and I'm looking at the menus and shit, and I'm like, God, this looks exactly like it looked back in the day. But if you load it in the resolution, like there's a button you can press that'll change the resolution.
Yeah.
Like, never mind. It did not look like it did back in the day. It looks way fucking
crisper,
better.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's great. And it still is a creepier and harder game than Diablo 3. But I really like some of the classes in Diablo 3. Do you play any other ones? Or
any other Diablos?
Like any other Diablo classes? Or just like the class, like...
Not on these playthroughs, no.
No? The Demon Hunter's really fun.
I'll say Nate played that last time.
It's a fun DPS.
Yeah.
Especially at higher levels, it gets insane fun. But that's with most characters, I think.
Yeah.
I think I might have actually always had the least amount of fun playing a fucking barbarian or a necromancer. They've got
I feel like necromancers are pretty fun.
They've got cool shit, but there's not a lot of...
Yeah, as far as actually gameplay for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once you are leveled up, if you're just doing PvP and shit, that's a blast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking Bone Shield all the way, baby.
Another thing I've been watching is UFC. All day, every day.
Yeah, like real time. When was the Amanda Nunes fight? Nunes?
Was
it last weekend?
Yeah, we're recording on Friday. Yeah, it was last Saturday.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it was within this week. Our time recording, but as this comes out, it'll probably be like 2 weeks old news. But Amanda Nunes whooped her ass, huh?
Put it on her, got her belt back.
I fucking bet
she did. That was entertaining.
She's Amanda Nunes.
It went the distance, though.
She's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, so is the lady she went up against.
Yeah, for sure. Good fight.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna check it out now that it's already out. You know what I mean?
It's not out yet.
Oh, it's not?
I think it's like 3 weeks or 4 weeks they wait to put them out. Yeah, okay. For the pay-per-views.
I'll check that out though. I love watching the fights. We haven't been able to come like the last 2 times you had them at your place. We just had other shit going on, but man, love watching the UFC fights.
Good time.
Watching 2 people just beat the shit out of each other. I'm loving it. All right, man. Well, I think that's about all we've got. That's all. I'm out of steam. You got anything else you want to throw in there?
No.
Okay. Well, again, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for telling a friend. Again, if you want to contact the show, it's just2movies@gmail.com or at It's Just Two Movies, Twitter, Instagram, or other social platforms, including Facebook and TikTok and all of them. We're out there. Oh, if you would like to contribute to this show and help us keep the lights on, you can make a one-time donation for Buy Me a Coffee. We're hoping to have some paid tier content sometime soon. But you can always do Buy Me a Coffee. It's at buymeacoffee.com/itsjusttwomovies. Or you can see our Amazon affiliate link in the episode description. If you're going to buy stuff on Amazon, click the link first, and it helps us out. So, yeah, well, we certainly appreciate that. And, I'm pretty sure that's all the disclosures for our podcast. So, as we say at the end of every episode of It's Just Two Movies...
You know, those space whales.
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's call that gold talk! We're a one-eyed Batman! Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob. We don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin business is booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
I just wanted to throw out a couple of special thanks for the folks that make this show possible. Big thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams, Lamplighter Production for our artwork, Godsized Growing for some musical guest appearances, and Dave, who's our YouTube editor. We probably wouldn't even be on that platform were it not for him. If you want to check out anything any of these amazing people are working on, all of their links are in the description for this episode. If you want to contact the show, you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at It's Just Two Movies. We've got a Facebook page now, so that's on there. You can always leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can email us at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. Okay, yeah, and if you like the show, like, subscribe, leave us a review. That stuff helps tremendously. Okay, I'm liking it.
God, yeah.
Oh, God.
Handle it.
Oh, God.